back, the spreader back in the mold. I just made this yesterday. It's kind of the LMI style, which of course they're no longer in business, but I think you can still purchase these like through Amazon stuff. They have back stock. So there are a number of different ways that I can take this down to the line. I'm not sure you can even see the line, but I'm losing some cool looking spalting right there. That's drag. Yep, and it was book match, so they're both of those are going away. Anyway, there's plenty on here. So there, you know, of course, where it's closer to the line, you know, you just take it down with the block plane and whittle that away. Where it's farther away from the line, seems like there's something I was wanting to say. Anyway, I can just take a chisel and a very dull chisel. Oops, I just put a big gash in my mold. Okay, so don't point this at yourself. So that, like that. Let me see if this one's any sharper. Not really, but it's bigger. That way, then I have even other little chisels that once I'm closer, I'll probably use something like this. And then I have one that's got a rounded bottom on it, so that where it's dipping down, you can get in there and, you know, go for it. So I'm going to use the chisel method. I'm probably going to grab a stone and get this somewhat more, you know, sharpen these things up a little bit. At any rate, then, oh, there's a thing you can do. I'm not going to do it because I just think it's a lot of extra work, and it doesn't, I mean, it would prevent you from accidentally catching grain and ripping into the side farther than you wanted to do that past the line. And it's basically taking a saw and cutting down just above the line all the way across, you know, every few inches or every couple inches, and then you can pop them, and if it catches a grain, likely it's going to hit the other cut before it goes all the way down into the side of the guitar. But I'm not going to do that. Yeah, no need. I am going to sharpen or find a sharp chisel. How's that? Maybe I have one in my drawer that hasn't been abused yet. So at any rate, let's just let's see. Now this isn't bad. Now see how it's peeling and it caught up. So that's what you want to watch out for. If it were to catch and go down, then you'd be in trouble. So you just kind of have to watch how this stuff is running grain-wise, so you don't get too far. And I'm all the way down here over here, so they really have to catch. Yeah. Oh, I know what I was going to mention was the fact that a lot of people kind of pre-taper their sides before they bend them, and that's good if you have a plan that shows you what that taper should be. I tried plotting it out on the first two guitars, and I just decided to just do it this way. And since this particular set of plans doesn't have that side piece on it, like my first set of plans didn't have, I'm just doing it this way. Even if you pre-taper them, you end up having to you know, run them through in the dish and make sure that everything's at 15 feet, at the 15-foot radius. Okay. long, long ways from my line here. So got a long ways to go over here. And my line is actually below the block, but the front of the block has to come down because it tapers into that 15-foot radius. So the top of this block will stay where it's at, the back edge, and then it'll get tapered down to this line. Probably going to stay about where I am above the line anyway, just so that we don't do anything silly. I am going to move this around. You know, I ordered hockey pucks for spacers, and nowhere on the description did it say that they were squishy hockey pucks. So they're not really doing that great a job. And I am going to, they did just help me get the spreaders tight in the mold. I'm turning this to my side where I can see it. So I'm going to just turn you off because you can't see what I'm doing anyway. And I'll bring you back in when I'm putting this thing back in the dish and giving it a radius. And then we'll go on to linings on this thing. Kerfed in this case. I'm going to start here. Well, I said I was going to turn you off, so. I should do that. I just kind of wanted you to see it doesn't really take all that long to do these. Longer than it would to run them through a bandsaw if you had the right pattern for the taper. But I don't. So yeah, I'll see you in a little while. So I got the sides trimmed down to approximately an 1/8 inch above the line. And what was I going to say? Oh, I clamped the dish down just because it does have a little bit of a dome on the back side and it was rotating. So this makes it easier. The idea here is to try to rotate it. I had already been doing this a little bit. I can't find my 6-inch rule, and I got a feeling maybe it's in this slot in the table underneath the dish, and I'm not pulling that out. So kind of keep up with where you're. A couple of points. I'm using the spreader as a guide. So anyway, I can't find my 6-inch rule, so I'm using this thing. Tape measure, which served me well for a whole lot of years in construction. It's pretty even for the most part. This is 1 9/16 at the waist. 1 1/16. 1 1/16 at the waist there. Back here at the, let's just say at the top of the about 1 5/8. 1 5/8. So we're running pretty good. And then at the end of the spreader, 7/16. Served me well until I couldn't read a tape anymore. Okay. Yeah, 7/16, and I got 1 7 over here as well. Okay. So it's coming down pretty evenly. It's kind of something you just want to watch out for as you go. right there. That's reading 3/4 there, and this is reading 11/16. So I do want to put a little pressure on this corner. This block has a long ways to go here, but I don't know that you can see my line. I have another 1/8 of an inch on my line here, so that'll take care of that. One other thing. This is kind of a hassle. What was that? Oh. My brush fell off. Hit the camera. Okay, so I was watching some stuff from Chris Alvarado, Driftwood. Driftwood? Yeah, Driftwood guitars. And he's got like a 19-hour thing. I've watched a lot of guitar videos over the years. And this is the 3,000-year-old build that he put up at 19 hours and something. So it just happened to be last night I was watching, he was doing this exact thing. And I watch, yeah. If I can get a pointer from the guy, great. I'm not too proud to do that, but I wasn't watching him to see how to do it. I've already built 2 guitars and gone through this process. But what I noticed he was doing was he's just taking the dish and just swinging one end of it. Which is a lot easier than wrestling the other way. Let's see if I made any progress at all on that. Yeah, I still got a long ways to go on that block and to get to my line here. And once again, I'm going to just check it right at this little corner. 9/16. We're even now. So now I got to try not to push unevenly anyhow. Anyway, that was also just going back and forth like this. It's all 30 in, it's all 15-foot radius. I think the truest method would be to stay here in the center and do that. I think once I'm close, that's probably how I'll finish up. And the other thing I can do is take it off of here and put the dish on top and rotate. The dish is a lot lighter than this. The other thing that you need to kind of continue to look at is how deep the body is here at the neck end. Thick. I want to end up with, actually I want to end up with what I have right now with the top and the back on. So I've got plenty of room to get this out of here because it's 3 3/16. Where's my other, now I can't find my 12-inch ruler, metal ruler. I've been using it all day. It's been laying right here all day. Oh, there it was. It was laying at a 45 on top of something and I was looking right at the edge of it. Harder to find like that. Alright, so it was 85 millimeter on the outside of the guitar. So including the thickness of the back and the top, we need to be at 85 millimeters. And so I'm obviously not counting that right now. Right now I'm at 83 millimeters. So I've definitely got enough room to take this block down and the neck, on the top side with the 30-foot radius down to its measurement. Anyway, I'm just going to go back and forth with this kind of stuff because it's tedious. The edge of the body sand or side sand really rapidly. Let's see if I can take this, drop this down. I'm going to use it other way. Here are the ways. this edge here. So I got a pretty good ramp on that. So now all I got to do is take this kind of the sharp edge off of here. These clamps on here just so this isn't flopping around while I'm doing this. So that block is completely beveled and I'm right down to the line here. So I really don't need to take anything else off of here. Let's see here. Yep, pretty even there, so we're good. Okay, you can see that I still have some neck block there that has not been sanded. So it looks like there's about maybe a 1/16 by the time that gets all the way to there. And I have my line here that I do all the way around is still showing. Pretty much just barely showing on this side, but as you recall, I've been measuring this thing, so 9/16, 1 inch, 1 inch. Let's go right here, 1 3/8, 1 7/16. So that's a fuzz wide right there. I don't think it's going to hurt anything, but I don't really, at this point, want to sand the block any farther, that'll end any farther, so and I'm just going to go back and forth here. I want it fitting the way it's going to fit when it's in the rims getting the kerf put on. Okay, so it looks like looks like I'm almost there, if not there. Nope, not quite. So I'm just going to keep going with this, and like I've been doing, monitoring the evenness of the sides. Now, I didn't point this out, but this these are all very, very even in here. So this one looks like it might be just a tad lower, so maybe I need to top that down a bit. But for the most part, they all look very, very good. So I'll double check all that, make sure that's good. I'll maintain my side measurement from the mold to make sure everything's going down evenly. Don't want to create any wedges or anything. And I got to get this neck block in. Once that's done, I'm pretty good. I'll just do the front, and that's going to be a 30-foot radius. And then after that, it'll be kerfing.